Have you ever been deep in the woods, felt a chill run down your spine, and had the unnerving feeling that you weren't alone, that something big was watching you from just beyond the trees? For countless people, this feeling is more than just a passing fear. It's a real encounter with a creature that should unexist. Today, we're diving deep into the mysterious world of Bigfoot. For generations, stories of a large, hairy, ape-like creature have echoed through North American folklore. Indigenous cultures have tales of Sasquatch, a wild man of the woods, a figure to be respected and feared. But it wasn't until the 20th century that these legends crashed into the modern world, sparking a phenomenon that continues to fascinate and baffle us. It all started to gain mainstream traction in 1958. A journalist named Andrew Genzoli, working for the Humboldt Times in California, published a letter from a reader about large, mysterious footprints found by a bulldozer operator named Jerry Crew. The loggers had been finding these tracks for a while and had nicknamed the creature who made them Bigfoot. The name stuck, and a legend was born. These footprints were huge, far larger than any known animal, and they kicked off a nationwide obsession. But the story of Bigfoot would reach a whole new level of fame 9 years later. In 1967, this is the moment everyone knows, the one that burned the image of Bigfoot into our collective consciousness. Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin, two amateur Bigfoot researchers, were riding on horseback through Bluff Creek, California, the same area where Jerry Crew found his tracks. Suddenly, they saw it, a large bipedal, fur-covered creature walking along the creek bed. Patterson frantically grabbed his 16mm film camera and started shooting. The result is the infamous Patterson-Gimlin film. It's less than a minute long, shaky, and grainy, but it shows a creature that looks remarkably like the descriptions. As it walks away, it turns its head and shoulders to look back at the camera movement, now famously known as the Patterson lookback. This single piece of footage became the cornerstone of Bigfoot evidence. For believers, it's undeniable proof. For skeptics, it's the most elaborate and successful hoax of all time. Experts have analyzed this film frame by frame for decades. Some argue that the creature's gait, muscle movement, and proportions are impossible for a human in a suit to replicate. They point to the way the muscles seem to flex under the fur and the unique, compliant stride it takes. Others, however, are convinced it's just Bob Gimlin's friend in a modified gorilla costume. They point out inconsistencies in the fact that Patterson and Gimlin stood to gain financially from the film. To this day, the debate rages on, and the film remains unproven and undebunked. But the Patterson-Gimlin film is just the tip of the iceberg. The Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, or BFRO, has cataloged thousands upon thousands of eyewitness reports from every state in the U.S. except Hawaii. These aren't just vague stories, they are detailed, often terrifying accounts from credible witnesses, hikers, hunters, police officers, and even scientists. Take the Ape Canyon incident in 1924. Decades before Bigfoot was a household name, a group of miners near Mount St. Helens reported being attacked in their cabin by several apes. They claimed these creatures threw huge boulders at their cabin all night long, trying to break in. The men were terrified, firing their rifles into the darkness until morning. When they finally emerged, they found massive, human-like footprints all around the cabin. This story is so significant because it predates the modern Bigfoot craze, suggesting it's not just a product of modern media hype. Then there are the sounds. Many reports describe blood-curdling screams and howls echoing through the night. Unlike any known animal, these vocalizations are often called samurai chatter or whoops. Researchers have recorded these strange sounds, and when analyzed, they don't match the calls of bears, cougars, or any other North American wildlife. Some audio recordings, like the famous Sierra sounds, feature complex vocal patterns and what sounds like a primitive language, further deepening the mystery. And of course, there are the footprints. Plaster casts of alleged Bigfoot tracks are a staple of Bigfoot research. They are often enormous, some over 20 inches long, and show features that scientists find puzzling. Some casts exhibit what's called a dermal ridge, which are the fine lines that make up fingerprints. Primates have them on their hands and feet. Finding these on a plaster cast is considered strong evidence by many, as they would be incredibly difficult to fake. Furthermore, some tracks show a mid-tarsal break, a flexibility in the middle of the foot that human feet don't have, but apes do. It would allow a heavy creature to walk more easily on uneven forest terrain. So what could Bigfoot be? The leading theory among believers is that it's a surviving species of giant ape, possibly a relative of Gigantopithecus blackie. Gigantopithecus was a massive ape that lived in Asia hundreds of thousands of years ago, and some speculate a population could have migrated to North America across the Bering Land Bridge. Just like early humans and other animals did, they could have adapted to the new environment, becoming the elusive, nocturnal creature we call Bigfoot today. But the scientific community remains highly skeptical, and for good reason. The biggest problem is the lack of a body. For a species to exist, you need a breeding population, not just one or two individuals. A breeding population would mean thousands of these creatures living across North America. So where are the bones? Where is the physical proof? Believers argue that the forest is an incredibly efficient recycler. Animals that die in the wild are quickly scavenged and their bones scattered and broken down. Finding a complete skeleton of any large wild animal, like a bear, is already extremely rare. Finding the remains of a creature that is actively trying to avoid humans would be even harder. Another major hurdle is the lack of clear DNA evidence. While some hair and tissue samples have been collected over the years, many turn out to be from known animals like bears, elk, or even humans. However, some studies have yielded unknown or anomalous DNA sequences that could be matched to any known species. In 2012, a study by Dr. Melba Ketchum claimed to have sequenced the Bigfoot genome, concluding it was a hybrid of a human female and an unknown primate male. However, the study was not peer-reviewed in the traditional sense and was met with widespread criticism from the mainstream scientific community. Despite the skepticism, the search continues. From dedicated researchers using thermal imaging and parabolic microphones to everyday people with a smartphone, the hunt for Bigfoot is more active than ever. TV shows like Finding Bigfoot have brought the quest into millions of homes, inspiring a new generation of enthusiasts. So what do you think? Is Bigfoot a real, undiscovered primate roaming the vast wilderness of North America? Or is it a combination of misidentification, folklore, and elaborate hoaxes? Could every one of those thousands of eyewitnesses be mistaken or lying? Could the footprints, the sounds, the grainy videos all be explained away? Or are we, the so-called dominant species, sharing this continent with something ancient, powerful, and incredibly intelligent? The forest keeps its secrets well. Perhaps the truth is out there, just beyond the tree line, waiting for the right person, at the right time. To finally solve the greatest mystery of the North American woods, one thing is for sure. The next time you re out in the wilderness and you hear a twig snap, you might just wonder what's watching from the shadows. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the world of Bigfoot. If you have your own encounter story, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's greatest mysteries. See you next time.